Welcome back. I'm Tim Witzman on Wichita's Biz That Is with our guest today, Steve Fisher from VR Business Brokers. Let's go to that buyer and seller for a minute. From the seller's point of view, what should they know or what should they have if they're going to talk to you and they're thinking about selling that business? What's your advice to them to be ready?
Our advice to them, we've got to have a good understanding of the numbers. Ultimately, that's really what matters to the buyer. That's what matters to the bank. Tax returns, P&Ls, balance sheets.
Do you ever run into any that are questionable?
Yes. I mean, I don't know how else to answer that. We're judged by the company we keep. So
you will walk away from it.
We've walked away from people before that we weren't comfortable
that those
dealing
numbers.
with. Yeah. And I've heard horror stories. We've had buyers call our office, people that we've interacted with in the past, and okay, here's the information I'm looking at on this business. Can you help me make it make sense? Generally, we'll look at it, and generally my answer is no. You know, we can't make sense of this. We've been doing it long enough that we can kind of see through a lot of the smoke and mirrors.
Well, I remember, this is a totally different subject, but at one point the Wichita Eagle had asked me to look at a certain local governmental unit's budget, and they said, we want you to analyze that for us because we won the first National Budget Award in Kansas. And I looked at it and said, can't be done.
Yeah.
The way it's portrayed, you cannot make, it wasn't organized in a way to explain anything. Yes, it was a set of numbers. Yes, it was categorized, but didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I said, can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah. It's tough because people work their tail off to make as much money as they can, and you're rewarded by paying more taxes than you want to. And so the incentive is there is, what can I do to cheat the system? And you've got to work within the system. I mean, the last thing you want to do is somebody like me coming in and proving that you're a fraud.
Right.
When we do see those people, and our first advice is, okay, we need to get some things squared away, and then we need to come back and talk. Our goal is to help someone sail off into the sunset,
right,
and not have to look over your shoulder. Where if there's things like that out there, you're going to be looking over your shoulder the whole time, and we failed in our job if we can't let you do that.
Now the buyer. I mean, buyers sometimes have stars in their eyes. What is it they should know? What should they bring to the table to be able to successfully use what you do?
They need to be prepared to have a team in place. They need to have an accountant, attorney. They need to listen to what we say, although they also need to keep in mind that technically I work for the seller. But in the process of working for the seller, I've got to get them to where they need to be. So just having the team, having the understanding that it is going to take some time. It doesn't happen overnight. 60 to 90 days, it'd be a quick turn on something if somebody found the business and they were ready to go.
Yeah, that would be quick.
Yeah.
There may not be any, or none that you could say on television, but I'm always interested in what's funny in the business you work in. Goofy things that happen, and you just go home at night going, I can't believe that. Do you have any of those?
Oh gosh, goofy stories. I don't know that I have so much any goofy stories that I could share. We have some tough stories that we can share. Sad stories. I mean, we have boxes of Kleenexes around our office.
When people find out their business isn't worth what they think it is, or what?
Just the process of parting with their business.
Oh, parting with it. Okay.
It's one of the kids. I mean, the emotional attachment is huge, and a lot of times buyers will underestimate that, and they'll come into a meeting and say, well, this is just business. Well, I'm the seller 20, 25 years, 30 years. It's one of the kids. I've had people literally break down in tours. I've had people start crying in our office because of the emotional attachment. It's never happened to me, but it has to some of my counterparts where they've had to delay closings. I mean, everybody was sitting there at the table, and a seller had to compose himself before they could actually come in.
What's your biggest reward out of doing this?
I like
other than you get paid.
Well, that's a good one. I like to see people move from one phase of life to the next and know that I help make a difference.
Okay, very good. You've been quite involved with WIBA. I try not to bring a lot of WIBA, but you're head of the membership committee and coming on the, if elected by the membership, coming on the board. Why?
It's a good group. It's a lot of like-minded people that can work together, that can share ideas, that can have good, open, honest discussions. And I just think there's a great value to being able to do that.
Well, we greatly appreciate you and those other people too, because sometimes people look at associations and they look at the staff, but it's frankly the energy of the members that makes the biggest difference.
Well, and it's fun, and you've got to be willing to give and be a part of it. I met a person at a meeting last year, and it was his first meeting, and I asked him if he's coming back, and he goes, well, if I think I can get enough business leads, then I'll come back. And I told him, you're completely wrong. You need to come and give, and then the other things will happen later on down the road. And that's what I enjoy, because most of the people I interact with, they're giving. They're contributing to what I do. They make me feel good. Just so we can have the discussions and the conversation and the fellowship we do, and that's really what I like.
Yeah, and I think that there is more of that with the more independent businesses.
Yeah,
honestly,
I think so too.
Okay, well, that was a lot of fun, and we're going to close up on this week of Wichita's Biz That Is.